Hello. Hello, and welcome to episode 130 of Keeping It Real. I'm your host, jackkadis, and I've just freshly shaved. It's like when you say I've like that. I've just freshly shaved. I'm going to turn the screen away so I can't see myself, and then just focus on staring directly into the camera for the entirety of the... How much time? That's right, an hour. Today, who knows what we'll get into, but we'll do it together. Let's walk you through my last 48 hours. To begin, okay, where do we start? Where do we start? I think we start at episode 28, I think it was. And that one was a mess. Holy cow. You can go click on it and watch, but it was really just an absolute mess. I suffered through it, I guess you could say. And it's not about whether or not I suffered through it, but like if you're a listener and you gave that episode a chance, it's just really bland. I'm exhausted. You know, it's not, nothing's really just good about it. It's just, I don't know. You know, it's funny because I might look back. It's funny. It is funny because it is the things that you sometimes value least that you look back on as the best. Really, I mean that. Like, it's like on my wall in this room behind you through this window, there is you can go look at Keeping It Real. All of my thumbnails I draw myself. And some of them are really like low effort, or maybe they just don't feel like they just don't feel good, right? But then as time passes, you never know which one might actually be my favorite. Anyway, that episode sucked. And so it was like, okay, how can we make the next episode better? And it was better, not that much better, but it definitely was better. I filmed it in the morning. I filmed it before work. Today I don't have work. That's why everything might feel a bit weird. If you're like, Jack, why does everything feel weird? Because there was no work today. Right now I should be at work, but I'm not. I'm here doing this instead. And I also bought a ticket to see Sinners, which is going to be tomorrow. Can you get behind me? Look, this way. You have to walk behind me. Nice. I gave him my license plates for my bike. That was kind of crazy. I knew I was going to give him the key because he rode the thing, but then I'm looking at the plates. I took the plates off so I could fit some of my bedding in the nook of my my room. I gave him the license plates for all my motorcycles because I can tell that he's going to be riding, and I want him to have them. You should try giving things to people. It is very like selfishly rewarding. Is that irony? I have no idea. Back on track. What was I saying before the door opened? I can't remember at all. What was I saying before that door opened? We were talking about yesterday's episode and how it was bad, and then we were talking about how I have work today, and then we were talking about... So today's episode I see as good. Like before I've even done it, it's not even over yet, and it's good. Why? I'm not too sure. A lot has happened in the past. You know, a lot always seems to go down with me. It starts, I think, with Keeping It Real. My dad, so my dad was in town. Let's talk about that. I love that guy, like, deeply. And I saw this skit on YouTube, and, it wasn't about father and son. It was about guys versus girls. And the way it played out was, like, there was 3 guys on a couch, or 4 guys on a couch, I think. And then it cuts to, like, a different room. It's still the same couch layout, but it's, like, 4 girls on a couch, and it's, like, a girly decorated house, you know? And with the guys, it's very interesting how the dynamic works, relationship wise, because with the dudes, they're all trashing each other, right? But then one of them leaves, and they're all like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna leave, bro? Like, fuck you, fuck." And then he finally gets out the door, and then everyone's like, "Damn, I love that guy. I'd take a bullet for that guy. I'd let that guy raise my kid. Like that kind of stuff." And with the girls, it's like, when they're all together, it's like, "Oh my God, your hair is so pretty. I love you so much. Oh my God, you're so beautiful and perfect." And then when one of the girls leaves, they're like, "No, you have to leave. No, we're going to miss you." But then when they finally get out of the door, the three of them are left and they're just like, "I hate that bitch." And I don't think any way is any different. It's just interesting how there is a difference. And I feel like as a dude, I kind of see some of that like I feel like my dad and I are just now starting to actually become friends after all these years. I think it's been like a really hard 18 plus years for him and I. And I don't know. I'm not going to set the blames on me. I'm not going to say it's his fault. I'm just like, that's just kind of how it has been. And lately it's like, I feel like we're actually starting to become homies. And as a dude, I feel like sometimes being a homie means just letting your bro know what the hell's up. And so I had breakfast with him this morning, and like he was just totally digging into me for like an hour straight. Bought me breakfast though. Tasted amazing. Thanks, Dad. And just point to point to point to point. You got to get this in order, this in order, this in order. You got to work on this. You got to work on this. You got to work. Just like all breakfast. And that's how it always goes. I feel like he's an adult, so like, when you look at him, it's like he's always the same person. He doesn't change drastically. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really got his character in check, I guess you could say. But this breakfast. So what I mean by that is like usually he lays into me. He's always quick to be like, he's my dad. Like if he doesn't tell it to me, who else is going to tell it to me? I'm grateful to have a dad that cares so much. And what I want to talk about is just how it kind of felt different this morning. This morning, it kind of felt more like we were bros, I guess. Anyway, Dad does not listen to these. Mom does. Mom, no need to tell him any of this. But I did get some good stuff done today. I started keeping track of my money. I have a composition notebook, and I just wrote down everything that I spent today, including a $100 subscription charge to The Atlantic. What? Why did I ever do that? I can almost remember it very distantly. And how long have I been paying for that? What, a year? Like, is that like an annual thing? How many times have I gotten charged for that $100 fee? I'm in disbelief. The Atlantic is like the New York Times. It's like, why would you ever pay for that? You can get it for free if you just take one extra step to Google free version. What am I doing paying for this? Why am I paying for this? I canceled it. Tonight, I'm going to see Sinners. And I'm probably going to stop by, if I can get all of this wrapped up and done with before, I'm going to stop by Jersey Mike's before. I'll probably stop by anyway. I want my sandwich, man. I want a sandwich. And it's free. It's free. So, coming up in my life, a lot of stuff's going on. Coming up in my life, I got a lot of stuff's going on. Coming up in my life, I got immediately, in the month of May, nothing. Mid-June, dentist appointment. End of June, road trip to Colorado / purchase of a 1984 Goldwing that I decided, yes, I do deserve. My posture is so horrible. Oh, my posture is so bad. Okay, does this fix it? I don't know. 1984 Goldwing. Can you believe that? I'm so excited about it. June done. End of July, me and my brothers are going to come together. I don't care how it happens. Ben, I got to start figuring out. I know he's like, how old? He'll be in summer. I'm going to take off work. We're going to go to, we're probably going to go to Ike because Ike's going to be working a job in New York City, and I'm not going to ask him to take off because rent for him is probably going to be really tight. I'm not going to lie. But he can take off for a day or two once we get there. Come on, Ike. And we're going to hang out, bro. We are going to hang out. I was thinking about Wrightsville Beach, but fast forward a year in advance, the most long-term goal I think I've ever set myself, I'm going to be moving to New York City. So it would make sense that I spend my birthday in New York City with my brothers, because I'm interested in seeing Manhattan University. This is how I've been thinking about it recently. I've got like some weird vibes, I think, and they stem from like, on the one hand, I want to go to school and I want to move to New York City, so like it clashes. And Manhattan University has like a really high. It's one of those like very, I think, for profit places. It has, how do I explain this? A high acceptance rate. And I'd imagine the figure online is like 70 something %. And I'd imagine it's somewhat higher. I feel like once you get over 60%, it's in your best interest to start, underreporting, if that makes sense, what your true acceptance rate is. Because, everyone wants to be a part of something that not many people can be a part of. It's a human nature to try and, like, even if it's subconscious, you want to be somewhere that not everybody can be. It makes you feel better about yourself. Like, that's why there's so many applications to these places like Harvard, UCLA, UNC Chapel Hill. Like, people like to belong to a group that it seems is, what's the word? Curated or like selective. I don't know. It's just kind of it's just kind of something that happens, and it's not like, that's not like the be all end all, but like it is a kind of, it is just something that, I would maybe want to just point out. Because I want to say, I think that if I applied, I'd get in no problem. I think if I applied, I'd get in no problem. I think if I submitted my application, I'd get in no problem. So then comes the question of, do I actually want to go there? And that's what I could take a trip and see what it's like, meet an advisor. On my birthday. I think that'd be cool. Why not? I think it'd be great. I want to live in New York City, and as much as you have two voices in my head, right? One is one of my very good friends, Pete, and one is my dad. My good friend Pete, and this is in discussion of how my parents have saved up money for me to go to college, and I have not used it yet. I've used very little bits of it, community college. And in regards to that account and me going to school, Pete says, act like it doesn't exist. He says, my best advice to you, he said, bro, don't use that money. And it's like, I'm with that. Like, when I moved out, I liked how it was community college and I was barely using it. And right now, how I'm not in school, I like how it's sitting there and I'm not using it. I don't want the money. I didn't save the money. I don't want the money. You know what I'm saying? And then my dad, this morning at breakfast, was like, it's okay to ask for help. You can't do this on your own. And, whenever we talk about that money, he's always like, that's what it's there for. I literally can't use it for anything else. And so, I don't know. It's expensive. Obviously, a place like that where, everyone kind of gets in, it's very expensive. Very expensive. And with that, with that cost, I think it would kind of be interesting almost, because I feel like money is just the strangest thing. And the people, like, the way that it kind of rotates, like the way that it kind of shapes like I'll put it this way. I was born and raised in a very nice neighborhood, and I went to a fantastic public school not too far away. I'm from like just I'm from a city. I'm born in a city, like not New York City, but like a city in which has really nice neighborhoods, like 5 minutes from downtown. And Charlotte, North Carolina. And from like 0 to 18, I was raised there around those kind of people. And listen, I'm not trying to say that like the people here are one way, the people here are another way. I know within every region there is all kind of person. I know this. But it also cannot be denied that there are some differences when you go from this place to the next. You know, like things do differ. Things change. Some stuff's different. It's not all like, it doesn't all make sense. You know, it's like to understand, you have to go, you have to live somewhere. And I very much felt like I needed a very big change after high school. And I'll have these, I have these moments sometimes today where I'm like, why didn't I just stay there? Like my job in Charlotte paid me 3x more what my job pays me here. Why didn't I just stay there? Where I lived, the area had great community colleges, great four-year universities. I could have had my pick. I could have been very selective. And I could have stayed making a ton of money at this job that I had. We got such great cash tips. But then I'm like, dude, you don't mean that, because when you say that kind of thing, you neglect you neglect Past Jack. And Past Jack was like, get me out of here. I know a lot of high school seniors relate. It's like, and that's a great thing to have in you, that sort of burning desire for change. All kids should go away, whether it's for college or for what. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. If you don't get the hell out, you might never really, truly understand how much your parents mean to you. If you don't ever get out, you might not actually understand what this meant or this meant. I would tell you to get the fuck out. Leave where you're at, okay? I don't care if you're a high school senior or if you're 30 years old. If you've been in the same place for your whole life, move. So, I've lived here for 3 years. Next year will be my 4th year living here. And that is the duration of what all of my friends' college experience. More or less 4 years. Some graduated early, some will graduate a little bit later. But all my friends will pick up their bachelor degree somewhere around May of next year, 2026. And with, it's not just about their bachelor degree or what school they went to or the people that they saw. In May of 2026, all of the 20, then they'll be about 21, 22 years old, who were born in Charlotte, lived there for 18 years, and then moved away, will kind of have this moment where they'll be like, okay, well, 22 divided by 4 is a little bit more than 5. And here we go. Like, it's time to start understanding that, my whole life was here. That kind of messed with me. Like, my whole life is here. What else is there in this world? And then I come over here and I stay here for what is now almost a 5th of my life. And that's a big chunk, a 5th. So you can really think about a comparison. What makes this place like this place, and what is different, and what's inside of me, what's actually out there. Like, because I gotta start being able to explain this. I got to start being able to actually articulate why I feel I need to move and live in New York City for, I know you can't really say these things, but I feel like I got to go there for a decade. Like, I think my 20s have to be in New York City. And it's like, why? Because people are just going to keep asking, why? And it's not about people. It's about me. And I refuse to keep telling myself, oh, well, I know I do. You know, I got to be able to explain this to me. And it's funny how when you actually are able to explain something to yourself, you find people ask it less and less. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter what it is, you know? Like, we'll take, for example, how I'm not in school right now. There was a time in which I really didn't know if it was okay for me not to be in school. I was really freaking out about it. Like, was I in school? Was I out of school? Like, and like Thanksgiving, you know, places where family would come together and old friends and current friends. I always felt like they were always breathing down my neck. Jack, what's your plan? Why aren't you in school? Why aren't you in school, Jack? What's going on? You know, I felt like they were just clawing at me, right? But now when I'm at a place where I can actually articulate and explain to myself why I'm not in school, and you know, it's like no one gives a shit anymore. It's like, hey guys, just so you know, now I totally I could talk to you about it for days and days and days. I could articulate. I could go until my jaw gets tired. We could do 6 Keeping It Reals a row on the sole topic of why and what it means for a Jack Kadis not to currently be enrolled academically. Now that that's the truth, you know, family doesn't ask anymore. You know, friends don't like it. It's like, it almost makes you think that they were never really asking like you thought they were asking. Like, it almost makes you think that maybe it was like you were so stressed out about it that it really stuck out when someone did mention it. Or maybe someone wasn't even asking about it, but like you're so worked up in your head that you just thought you had to come up with an answer, and then you're stressed, you know? So, here we find you can go on Spotify, the Jack Kadis Show on Spotify. The second episode of that, there's no video. The camera messed up, so I just decided it was a long day, so I was just like, I'm going to release this as a bonus episode on Spotify, because Spotify has a option to do bonus episode. And I sat down right here with my buddy Pete, whom seems to be interested in this sort of thing, kind of like I am. And, you know, he says, why New York City? And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I start to get a little bit stressed out just because, you know, and then I start to be like, well, I don't have to explain anything to anybody. And then I'm like, wait, well, why am I saying that? What makes me say I don't have to explain anything to anybody? Like, what? You know? But it's different, I guess, with this. Because this is like a goal that I want to accomplish. And with school, it was more like a circumstance that I wanted to explain. So maybe these two things can't be compared necessarily. Maybe it is true that I don't need to have an answer for why I want to go to New York City. I think that sounds right, to be honest with you. I really don't think that I do. I think when you make reasons for things, they always just end up changing. So I think I'll let the book kind of write itself. Let it be, as we said in a previous episode. And, you know, you know, like, we'll go. I'll go. I don't know how long I'll be there. I don't know if I'm going to enroll in school or not, you know. But I ain't signing another lease in Raleigh. That's for sure. So, I'm going somewhere, and you know, I am going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I'm leaving Jersey Mike's behind. That's going to be really sad. That's going to be really sad. Yeah, it's tricky. It's scary, you know, because this whole move to New York City thing has me like appreciating this porch. You know, we talked about that in previous episodes, and like appreciating Raleigh more than I ever really have, in a different way too. And maybe it's graduation season that's adding to that or whatever. I don't know. And you think about like, well, you know, you move to New York City and then that sort of just vanishes, that appreciation for things. And then you're somewhere that you don't know where you're at, and you know, you moved away from everything, all your coworkers, all your friends, all of it. This is what I think progress looks like, truly, because when I left high school, I was very much like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I knew I was going to miss my friends in high school. You know, I love the buildings. I like the buildings. I like the buildings. Like, they really make me happy. Like the skyscrapers. I love skyscrapers. I love pipes. I love trains, subway systems. I love stuff that is built on top of stuff that is built on top of stuff. I love worn down things. I love it. And New York City is it. You know, it is the densest city in America. And, you know, it's funny because we talk about Manhattan University, right? And other colleges, how some might have a lower acceptance rate than others. And that's kind of like, you know, we think about acceptance rates. And I'm like, well, would I really want to go to a place that lets everybody in? Yeah, I wouldn't care. I'm just indifferent about it. But is there a certain draw to a city where they say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere? A city where the wealth gap just continues to go like this, like comically. A city that has just coined a new term, Billionaires Row, in which these giant, super tall, skinny skyscrapers have purchased the air rights of all buildings around them, and they rise on the south side of Central Park, overlooking everything. Half of the luxury condos and apartments and homes to be sold in all these buildings are still empty. Why? Because people buy them and leave them empty as to not depreciate their value. These are people with so much money, so much power, that, I mean, they don't see life the same way that you and I see it. But that's the thing. I don't think it's that different. You know, I think at the end of the day, these people with all this money and this power, they're still just looking for happiness. And they still just want to make themselves better. It's not even make themselves better, man. Everyone just wants to be happy. And I feel like I've been in so many different rooms. And like it's time to like pick out my room, you know? And I want to be in the place with the most rooms possible. New York City. I think I really believe that, you know, like, what do I picture myself doing in my pursuit of happiness throughout life? Probably probably, giving everything I have to children, a wife. That's likely what I'll do. I'll follow in the footsteps of my father, someone who I couldn't even say to you on camera. Like, I wouldn't even be able to put it into words, like, how much I really look up to him. Like, he's really, I'm crying. He's like really like a man. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, that's what I would consider making it. Like giving to some like group of kids or like woman, like what he has given to my mom and us. It's hard. Sometimes it's easy to cry about stuff, and sometimes it's really hard to cry about stuff. And right now, it's like really hard to cry about this. I don't know how to explain it to you, but like I want to just like laugh and like push through it. But I just feel like I want to start like I feel like I want to really start like chasing that sort of thing, and I feel like part of me chasing that is going to somewhere where I see as the best and most suited, the place with the most opportunities, the place with the most examples of why people are good people. I'm not even crying about it anymore. Am I crying about how awesome my dad is, or am I crying about New York City? I don't know. But I feel like when you go and you visit there, or maybe even a lot of kids spend 4 years there and they leave, it's hard to really find your spot. And I don't think it's that hard to find your spot there when you're raised there, as an infant. And I think for me, like going there at the end of this year would be asking for suffering. I think it's going to suck really, really bad because I've learned lessons. I'm not going to cling to people. I'm not going to, use friends as crutches. I'm not going to, I'm going to simply be by myself and I'm just going to be there for anyone that wants to cling to me. So, that's really going to I can choose to do that in a place where I think lots of people might need me, or I can choose to stay here in a place where I've grown very, very comfortable. I have a fantastic job with fantastic people. And there are very many people that are starting to cling to me here slowly but surely. Like the roots that I imagined spreading when I moved here as an 18-year-old are certainly beginning to spread, and they're like very strong roots that are going to really be sad to cut, with a machete when I get on a plane and wave goodbye. It's going to be a train. When I get on a train, wave goodbye. But you can't forget, you cannot forget that you're not cutting all of them. And there's one that's deeper than all of them. And my deepest root, I believe, is my belief in my belief in people. I think everyone's got to have a deepest root, and just because they're your roots don't necessarily mean that, and are able to label all of them. But if you were forcing me to do so now, that's what I'd say my deepest root is. And that's what I'd say I'm trying to make my contribution, is, you'd be so surprised how similar we all are. And it's haunting, I guess, because it really calls into question how much everything matters. But you have to remember that everybody's good. Everybody's good. Whew. Jeez, man. This is what keeping it real is about, This is what keeping it real is about. Keeping it real update. I'm probably going to go back to therapy because my dad wants me to. And I want me to. I don't want me to enough to go, simply put. They say, I've been saying, Gary Vee said this, I think. Who knows where he got it from? If you do it yourself, you do it slow. If you do it for someone else, you do it fast. So I'm not going to email her today. But I'm also not going to keep on living without thinking of emailing her. It's time to start thinking about emailing my therapist and setting up an appointment. You can only hope that a version of me that goes to therapy is a version of me that makes a better Keeping It Real episode. Hey, man, I didn't know. You never know. Like, I didn't think I'd be crying again on the camera. Last time I cried was because of a movie. And also, last time I cried, it was like a really sad cry. It was like a lonely cry, Like, it was a cry that was just like, why am I alone? I'm so alone and I'm crying about it, But this cry was more of like a beautiful cry. Last time I had a beautiful cry like this, I think was with an ex-girlfriend. Yeah. It was like a she's so beautiful cry, Got to keep on moving, baby. Keep on moving. On the topic of me, because that's all we talk about here. I'm hungry. I bought 2 chicken breasts. Maybe I could throw one in the oven. Work closes in 2 hours. This episode ends in 30 minutes. The bike ride to work is 10 minutes. I assume the bike ride past work to the movie theater is plus 10 minutes. So if I finish this, I have another 10-minute video to film. And then if I edit and post it all, you can imagine, and of course I have to draw the flyer for this. You can imagine that I would be, how's the framing, by the way? Am I big enough? I think so. Maybe zoom in just a bit. I mean, the episode's already wrapping up. I mean, we're at the halfway point. Anyway, you can assume that, we finish this and then we finish, oh my gosh, filming and editing everything, which is a non-negotiable. This has to be done before I see a movie. I won't get out of the movie at whatever time it is and still have work to do. Over this past 3 days, it's the hardest thing. You might not understand, you might not believe it, but the hardest part of anything is the first time you do it. So I'm on a streak right now. Whereas I have done all my work to the point that when I have gotten home from whatever it is that I've set to be the late night thing, the last thing, whether it's getting off work or today seeing a movie, you have to get everything done first. You can't just leave work for after the last thing, because then work comes to be the last thing, and work is very tricky. Because I enjoy what I do. And when, the clock starts to go down and you start to get little inklings of sleep deprivation and mix it in and loving with what you do, you start to confuse work for dopamine, I don't know. Like, if you're a crack addict, the best time to do crack is right when you wake up. like I'm serious. That's seriously, if any hardworking men, they are addicted to what they do. I'm serious. I'm being serious. It sucks, right? They'll tell you that it sucks, but so does doing crack. We as human beings are machines. I saw someone write this on a Reddit comment to a post about bicycling distances. And someone was like, the main poster was like, people drop their jaws when a bicyclist, says they've done 50 miles. Everyone's like, what? But people that actually ride the bicycle know that it's not the distance that matters. It's the conditions. Was it raining? Was it super hot outside? How was the terrain? Was it hilly? Were you on gravel? Was it, all uphill? That sort of thing. That is, to someone that partakes in the activity, the addiction, what really matters. So someone might come across me and see like, oh my God, you filmed a podcast, released 24 YouTube shorts, 2 Instagram reels, and a 10-minute vlog in one day. And anyone that would do this with me, if I had someone by my side doing this with me, which I know, in New York City, there are people that are grinding like this. Right now, the closest person that I know that does this sort of thing lives in Wilmington, and I know him from high school. He's just live streaming every day. So it's like the same, but it's different. It's not really the same. I might never, I'm never going to meet someone that's exactly the same, but like I know I can get closer. I know that I can get closer. Anyway, it's when I do this that matters. I did it right when I woke up. I did it, it's like that kind of thing. Like, that's what really matters. It's not what I did, it's how I did it. So. This was good, man. This was good. I'm fucking starving. I'm starving. I'm starving. And I'm going to see Sinners. And then I work for 2 days, then I'm off again. I got a lot of stuff done today. I got a lot of stuff done today. Along with, what did I tell you? Starting to keep track of my expenses, which is budgeting in my mind. I tried to spend as least money as possible today, and I'm done spending money for the day. I'm not going to spend another $1 for the day. And I still, dang, I spent that much. I spent $10 for the movie ticket, and then I spent $15, which I didn't even report because it was cash. So that means I must have spent something else somewhere. What else did I spend? Movie and what else did I buy today? What did I buy? See, this is why we keep track of it, because I can't even remember. I'm not thinking about that subscription. I'm thinking about... Give me 1 second. Let me grab... It's in my room. It's in the house. Two chicken breasts. I bought 2 chicken breasts. So I knew I bought something else. It was chicken breasts. So that's what's up, And I like that. I'm not, because oftentimes I'll stop at Whole Foods and I'll buy healthy food. And one of 2 things happens. Either I cook it immediately when I get home and eat it, or I never cook it at all. And I like right now that, A, I didn't cook it right when I got home. I'm going to go eat Jersey Mike's because I want to. And B, I'm still look, you see how like I had already forgotten that I bought the chicken breast because I didn't make them? But like because of this budgeting thing, hopefully I make them. When I get home from the movie, probably not. Tomorrow, probably. And that's a good space out, you know? That's a good like, hey, it doesn't have to be this or this. It can be this. Do you think New York City is like this? I don't know. I feel like New York City is in the middle. I don't feel like I'm like, you know, doing something drastic just to be drastic. You know, I feel like in New York City, it's not going to really matter. Like it's weird because we talk about this so much, but I'm not there yet. So there's only so much that we can even say. And it's not really moving to New York City that matters. It's how you move to New York City. So I think what I've got going on now, where I just made it a part of my Instagram reel, is cool. You know, I'm finding that like I don't actually have to literally do anything, that the Instagram reel itself can count as me moving to New York City. And also I realized last night that this is weirdly like on brand for someone that's on social media to like have a goal that people can like follow them along on. And I didn't even intend for that, but it's almost like it came out of me on its own, and like strange, you know, strange. Because I realized it after I did it, and now it's like, yeah, this is that. Like, it's like if you want, you can follow me along on my journey. Maybe I should start doing thumbnails and doing like New York City episode 1, you know, that'd be cool if you went to my page and you just wanted to watch the New York City videos. Big groundbreaking news I also did today. So we've had a very good trial run with the phone. I'm paying monthly for this thing that blocks certain websites from certain devices. You can add every single device that you own on it. Oh, I need to add my 2 laptops to it too, because what I've done is blocked all social media websites from my phone, because I never have had the apps really, and that's great, but my phone's always on me, and I often find that I look up the websites on my phone. YouTube.com, Instagram.com, and they come up just as easy. You can get sucked in just as easy. And with this product, you can it connects itself to your internet connection and blocks like a school firewall. It blocks, or like a firewall, I don't know, a school, like a public school domain blacklist list, blocks things you don't want to see. Instagram.com, YouTube, etc. I blocked way more than I ever actually visit. I got rid of Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, Pinterest, stuff that I never even go on. It's just kind of like a suggested folder, and I clicked all of them because everything I was reading were all websites designed to hold your attention, and this needs to hold my attention. You know, this is where I become, you know, I'm in charge of my attention, and I have decided to give it to this. The lights just came on. Oh. Half the lights just came on? That is so weird. That is so weird. I wonder if it's like a daylight sensor somewhere that's like split up. Why is this not light? And all the lights on that building. Oh, wait. The lights on that building are. Oh, so what? Okay, so the electrical grid must be split in half. Interesting. Fun. See, these are the things you figure out, you know? Like, if I was doing crack and I discovered some cool place to sleep because I was homeless on crack, I'd be like, these are the things you find when you do crack. But I make videos on the internet. So I'm like, yo, this is the shit you figure out when you make videos on the internet. And you know what I'm thinking about right now? My dad, I feel like lately he had been telling me, or like I mentioned in previous episodes that he was kind of filling me in how like maybe he didn't really love his job. And like if he could be younger and do it all again, he maybe would do it all again, you know, like. And I think I was creating that narrative in my mind. I don't think that's the case at all. I'm actually starting to think it may be more true that he does love his job, or at least likes his job. You know what I'm saying? Because he works like he's addicted, to be honest with you. And addiction is the weirdest thing, because I think addiction is beyond love or hate. It's just like its own thing. Like when you do something and you do it 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 and you do it. That's what I'm telling you. Did I ever finish what I was saying about the cycling thing on Reddit? Did I ever finish that thought? Where did I go after that? The guy on Reddit was saying that, oh yeah, I pivoted to, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. But that's not why I actually brought up the cycling comment on Reddit. Oh shit, but I'm forgetting what I actually brought it up for. Oh yeah, because he said in his comment, he said human beings are machines. If you start to bike 50 miles consistently every single day, it's not going to be hard anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like if you bike 50 miles every single day, you're going to stop sweating eventually while you do it. Your heart rate is going to get it's amazing the way we work, because what we do is what we do and our body just becomes that. It's beautiful, truly. If you have any athletes in your life, any really intense athletes, they always got practice, they always got games, and maybe you have like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. Next time you see that athlete, put that watch around their wrist and notice how much lower their heart rate is than yours. If you sprint every day, if you play soccer every day, you know, if you play basketball every single day, when you're not doing that activity, your body is chill. If you are really active every day, you will find that in the moments that you are not active, your heart rate, your resting heart rate is much, much lower than it would be. And that's because your heart is conserving itself. Your heart is somehow, some way, through some sort of chemical process, aware that you have practiced today. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe me, you try sprinting a mile once a day for a month, and then at the end of the month, don't sprint. Just go about your day normally, but just don't sprint your mile that day. You are going to feel like you just had a shot of adrenaline, you know, of coffee, caffeine. And I don't know at what point of the day it's going to come, you know. I don't know. It depends on how consistent you are with the time of day that you ran. But at some point between awake and asleep, you're going to be like, I need to run. I need to run. And it might not even, you know, it might not be that you need to run, but it's like you're going to do something that you would normally do, you know. Because your heart's going to pick up. Your heart's going to want to pick up. I don't think I'm going to eat Jersey Mike's today. Nah, I probably will. Yeah, I'm thinking about like my health now. I just got me thinking about my health, like heart rate stuff. And I'm very obese. I'm not like large with rolls, but there's a lot more fat on my body than it's supposed to be. I was raised much skinnier than this, and I thank my mom for that. There have been times in my upbringing where I've like wondered if like she was an almond mom, or like I've wondered if like, you know, like we were like, why were we so skinny? You know, like why, like, and our pictures of us as babies were like super skinny. You can see our bones, our ribs and stuff. Not like prisoner of war skinny, but like you know what I'm saying? Like never chubby really. And now I see that she really just wanted the best for our health. She just loved us so much, man. And it's not that I'm throwing it away. I've been like experimenting, I guess you could say. Like, what does it look like when you just eat? And no shit, what do you think it looks like? But I know that you can eat. It just has to be not Jersey Mike's, you know, not McDonald's. There are ways to eat. But you know, it's just like all that suffering that I depict in my first couple years in a new big city. Like I can't, like it's dangerous almost, but you know, you have to. You don't just get to forget the part where you plan for New York City for a year. You know, like you have to plan for it for a year. Like you have to do that. So if like excited is how you feel and excited is what you get, then excited is what it is. But you can't ignore the stuff like your health. I don't know. Like part of New York City, I think, is changing how I eat and how I live. I cannot be doing this to my body, you know. I have to, and especially in a city like that where money reigns supreme, whatever restaurant you're going to step into, the food's going to be delicious in the worst ways, you know, whether it's fast. Nowadays, the universal worth of the dollar is so understood nowadays that I don't think health-wise there's that much of a difference between McDonald's and a 4-star restaurant. Both want your money, and they want it bad. And what gets money? Shit that is addicting, you know? Shit that makes you feel really good. And you gotta understand, this isn't that drastic. This isn't like going from smoking weed every day to not smoking weed every day. This is just changing what makes you feel good. And I think that was what happened when I stopped smoking weed too. I think when I stopped smoking weed, I changed. When I stopped smoking weed, I think the biggest thing that helped me through it, maybe, you never can know these things, but one of the things that helped me through it, I think, was putting myself in a relationship with a girl. Because weed made me feel good, and I needed it to make me feel good. And so I put that task on another person. You know, this girl makes me feel good. I need her to make me feel good. And then, you know, she broke up with me, but I'm sure if you asked her what it was like on her side, she would tell some crazy story about how, like, you know, he really loved me and then it didn't feel like he loved me anymore. And who's to say who's right? Who's to say her story is crazy? You know? Because, you know, my story is my own and hers is her own. I don't even really know. I'm kind of hesitant to tell a story about something like that because I don't want to, you know, there's going to be another woman that, like, I give myself to eventually, and I don't want to start defining relationships that I've been in because that sets precedents And when you set a guest, when you invite special guests, sometimes they come and sometimes they don't. I sent actually a pretty, I would say, I think this text message was pretty self-explanatory. I texted, I don't want to get all personal on this show, but I have some troubles at home. And I texted, and I said, he could stay. Well, you're watching him. I have to go.
What time is your movie?
9:30. I'm busy.
We're watching Sinners at 9.
Where?
Can you cancel your ticket?
Yeah.
Can you cancel?
Yes. You guys can walk past. But you have to say hey.
Hi.
I can. Well, I don't know if I can. I'll see if I can get a refund. Because I'd like to see it with you.
Can.
From Alamo?
But there's no seats.
But it's just $10. Oh, there's no seats.
There is a seat, but it's not next to us.
That's fine.
Okay. 9 o'clock at
Will you buy the
bistro.
seat for me? I can't do it right now.
At the bistro.
Wait. I'm seeing 9:30 at the beach at Alamo Draft House.
I'm at bistro.
What's the bistro?
St. Mark Bistro.
Oh, that actually exists?
Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
Remember last night when I was like, I thought you were calling the Alamo Draft House? Because Draft House and Bistro are very like millennial words. So when I started going to Alamo Draft House, I remember I used to search Bistro to try and find it and it wouldn't come up.
Wait, can you refund your ticket? Check.
Yeah, I'll look, yeah. I'll probably call them and explain the situation.
Let me know whenever you figure it out.
Okay. Testing. This is the end of the episode. Well, actually, I'm probably gonna go solo. I'm probably gonna go solo. And then we'll get back home at the same time. Yeah, I don't have to go to the movie with them because I wanted to go to Jersey Mike's anyway, and my movie is until 9:30, and that should give me just enough time to stop by and get dinner at J Mike. Yeah. So this is the end of this episode of Keeping It Real. This, I know you know what I'm going to say. This is one of those episodes that I'm honestly like, damn, this was fantastic. It doesn't get any better than this. But it does. Stay tuned because sooner or later, who knows where I'm going to be filming these things in New York City. I feel good, man. It's time to finish out this 10-minute stuff and click the upload button a couple times because I want to get on my bike and go. You know what I mean? Get on my bike and go. I want to get on my bike and I want to go. This has been Keeping It Real, episode 130. I've been your host, JackKadis. If you have any interest in this sort of thing, we could be on it together. I have a whole separate show. It's called The JackKadis Show. Coming up, we have a 3-hour-long episode with a good friend of mine, Pete. I've been stressing over what kind of cameras I'm going to use, but we're going to figure it out, all right? I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.